And fourth. Elena, we're rolling out our feet first. Fourth is painful. And the fifth. Oof. And then bring it into the arch. And as if you're putting out a cigarette, internally, externally rotate. And then roll so that only the toes are on the ball. Rest the heel on the floor and try to get the ball of the big toe on the floor and the toe on the ball and really stretch the toe. Push the toe into the ball and hopefully your ball can resist. I'm blocking the ball with my other foot. And then go for a little walk. And just notice the difference between the feet already. And then same foot, we'll do the same foot you already did. I want you to find the most painful spot on the foot and put as much weight on it as you can and just hold and take a few breaths. And then one more painful spot, same foot. Maybe if you did the inside, do the outside. God, it's like I have a knife in there. Roll it just a little bit. See if there's maybe one more kind of in the triangle in between. Spread your toes. And come off the ball. And again, walk. And maybe that foot's giving a little more of a spring. And slow your walk down so that you're really walking through the whole foot, especially the back foot. You're pressing off that big toe before you move it forward. And then we'll come back and do the other foot. Do a generalized, try to get the whole surface. I'm sure the dogs are like feeling teased. Cover the whole surface area of the foot lightly. So we're just getting that top layer of feedback from the skin, connecting into the brain. Oof. Different levels of signalers to the brain. And then we want to go in a straight line from the big toe to the heel. And then second toe, and you'll progress. Third. Fourth. And fifth. And drape the foot over the ball and rotate it in and out. And then stretch the toes, resting the ball of the foot on the floor and trying to keep the toe, big toe, up against the ball. And spread it away from the other toes while keeping the ball, the big toe down. Push the toes into the ball. And relax, give it another pulse, pulse it into the ball. And relax. And then find a really brutally painful spot. Put some weight on it. And another one on the, maybe on the opposite side of the foot. And then triangulate a point. And take a walk. And slow your walk down, really pressing off the toes, feeling the whole foot. And then let's give the hands a little love. Putting the palm on the ball, cover the whole surface area. And then turn the back of the palm onto the ball. Same thing. And then moving to the wrist. Try to get all those little bones. And then with the thumb side up, roll toward the elbow. And take your time because those tendons can be sore. And then the back of the forearm on the ball, rolling toward the elbow and then toward the wrist. And then palm down, elbow to wrist. Ooh. And then place your hand on the ground and lean away from it. So plug the palm into the floor and lean the shoulder back. Sort of like an isolation of dog. And wrap the shoulder down so you feel the activation of the lat. Yeah. And then let's do the other hand. So cover the whole surface area with the ball. And the back of the hand too. wrist. Front and back. Try to move it around, get those little bones. And then start to roll. Let's turn the thumb up from the wrist to the elbow and back. I think I'm using a lacrosse ball today. It's much harder than a tennis ball or a yoga ball. I don't get it. Got some nice grip to it. I think it's a lacrosse ball. And then the back of the forearm. And the palm facing down under the forearm. And then try to press your hand, plug your hand into the floor and lean back, wrapping the shoulder down so you feel it lat. Stretch there. And then, of course, this is brutal as we know, but tuck your toes under you if you can and, modify as needed. Sit back toward the heels. And try to spread the toes. And this might be too evil. If you can, sit up tall and close the rib cage. Chest open, head high. Breathing through the nose. Oh, and then come forward and stomp your feet. This again might be too brutal, and maybe you want to do it 1 foot at a time. I'll do the more extreme version, but please be careful. So I'm leaving my toes pointed. I'm going to sit back toward the heels and maybe pick up the knees, getting a really, really deep stretch on the front of the foot and ankle. Oof. Funsies. And then again, smack them out. Make your way up. You want to lean your butt against something with your legs forward and lift, leaving the heels on the floor, lift the foot and lower. So you need your legs out in front of you. Knees are just a little bit bent. We're kind of reattaching the pulley or reestablishing, activating the pulley system. That, I don't know, it just helps the knees so much. Just doing a few of these. It's like the body remembers how to do it right. And then come on up and take another walk. If you can, walk on your toes. As you walk on our toes, close and open bring the elbows up to shoulder height and close the forearms together and open them wide. So as you're walking around, work the arms, opening and closing. And then walk on your heels, keep using your arms. And that might be painful. And then hold still. My arms are in a T, I guess, like a goal, no, not a T, goalpost. Maybe it's like a wide U, and going down and up. So palms are forward, and I'm keeping the elbows shoulder height-ish, and I'm rotating internally externally. Tummy in.
Gotcha.
And then squeeze them in one more time. And open. Squeeze your shoulder blades. And bring the arms down. And shake out your arm. Shake one. Shake the wrists and the fingers. Loosen the shoulder. And the other side. Try to keep your jaw relaxed. And then shake a leg. Try to really loosen the ankle and foot. And other side. I'm gonna shake in the middle. Not a bad idea. Shake it all, shake anything that'll shake. Shake your booty, shake your shoulder, shake your wrist, shake it all. Shake your head. Good. And then just stand for a moment and let your whole body acclimate to stillness. I listened to a talk on pain yesterday. Every couple of years, I check in with the pain experts again and see where they're at. They seem to every few years know less and less than they did before. It's like the more they learn, they're less sure they are about anything with the brain. It's in this case, so it's pretty interesting. But a couple takeaways: shaking for reasons they don't quite understand. That shaking we just did, very, very good. And counter pain. So if you have pain, let's say in your left heel, you know, we all know this sort of intuitively. If you squeeze somewhere else on your body, ideally like a proximal place, so far, maybe the right wrist, it will hurt less in the heel. And they know, yeah, there's a lot of information that kind of adds up to not a lot. So come on down and we're gonna lie down on the mat and see how things are feeling. Draw the knees in and rock side to side, just not very far, just a little bit from edge to edge, massaging the sacrum, massaging the low back. One thing that I feel is a good improvement to the pain canon lexicon is they no longer distinguish between psychological pain and physical pain. It's all just pain. And I think that's great. When I was growing up, there's a lot of, I mean, until recently, right? There's physiological pain, psychological pain. And I mean, I think it's great that they're just saying it's pain. Because it is. Hug your right knee in, extend your left leg up, and flex in point. I think about my sister. I don't know if you guys know this story, maybe in a different context, but my sister didn't walk for age 9 to 11. She just stopped walking and you couldn't get her to walk. And as a not very nice older sister, I certainly tried. And you can circle the foot and the other way. And it was considered psychological, but it was physical. Like it was psychological, but it was real that she couldn't walk. And I guess it's important to just make that distinction in terms of understanding that there's nothing actually wrong with her physically. But anyway, I guess now I'm seeing the other side of it. Flex the foot, hold. Spread the toes. And then send the leg all the way down. And let it root in the floor, let it rest. Pull the right knee in close and circle the right knee. And go the other way. Keeping the left side still, notice which muscles in the core help to stabilize. And then pull your right knee toward the right shoulder, right armpit. With your hand, smooth the skin. Draw your shoulder blades onto your back. Pull the knee into the middle, shift your hips to the right, right arm open, turn the head to the right, and twist. And with your left hand, brush that outer right hip. Unhiking it away from your waist. Point your left toes, reach to the crown of the head. And take some deep breaths here. Pushing the back of the right arm into the earth. And then reach to the arm, roll to your back, and hug your knees in. Keeping the knees together, circle them clockwise. Tummy in strong. And counterclockwise. And left knee into your chest, right leg up, and start to flex and point that foot. Is it a little more mobile because we rolled out the foot? Maybe. And circle the ankle, circle the foot. And the other way. And then hold a really strong dorsal flex. Spread the toes, reach through the heel. Pull those toes down toward you. And then send the leg down, down, down. And let it rest. Pull the left knee in closely and circle back. Give that leg a circle. And go the other way. And try to stabilize everywhere else. Pull your knee open toward that left shoulder while relaxing your shoulders. Breathe here, smoothing out the right side or wherever your body needs it. And we're working at that top layer of the nociceptors, messages being sent to the brain. There are different levels of these messengers. And then bring the knee into the middle, shift your hips over to the left, reach your left arm open as you twist. Smooth down that left hip, unhiking it away from the waist. Try to keep your shoulders resting on the floor as you look to the left. Push down into the floor with your left arm and reach through your toes, the right toes, and the crown of the head. In opposite directions, feeling that length through that line and the twist. And can you send the breath high into the chest? Reach through your left arm, roll to your back, Hug yourself. Ah, yay. We've rolled out our feet, we've rolled out our hands. Take your hands behind your head and we'll just get that core singing a little bit, elbow to knees, really simple cycling here. Pull the tummy down toward the floor. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and 2, and 1. And we're going to grab our balls again. You thought you were done. No. Grab that ball. Fine, right? And we're going to bring it under the bum. So bring it under your right sits bone. And I'm sitting up, my feet are flat, and I'm just steering it along the surface of my right bum, mostly around the sits bone. And as I mentioned, this is a lacrosse ball, I think, and it's pretty brutal, but I'd say in the perfect way. And yes, you want to maybe move that knee out a bit, let the knee fall open to get the outer butt. And then, oh, you can internally rotate it, get a different angle. It's all pretty brutal, in my opinion. And then we can come down on the right elbow to get the outer right hip. Whichever side you're doing. Hello. My goodness. And then turn so that it's under you on the right hip flexor. You can bend the right knee, foot toward the ceiling, and find a spot where it's useful, somewhere by that hip bone. You kind of want to get right against the bone there. Like I've landed the ball right at the surface of the hip bone, the inside of the hip, and then I'm rotating my leg out and in. And that's fun. That's a lot of fun. While we're here, let's move it over to the other side. On our tummies, inside of the left hip bone. And rotate the left shin in and out. And using your elbows, you can kind of scooch forward and back. And just see if there's a better spot, a little bit better. And by better, of course, I mean more pain. Or I guess I could mean less pain. And I just want to put a reminder out there with sciatica, if it's on the left side, you want to activate the front right, and often that will turn it off. Not always, but often. And then go to the outer left hip. I'm perched up on my forearm. And I'm running. I'm pretty sure we're rewarded by a bunch of endorphins from this though. So that's exciting. And then I'm also rolling toward the ball, like a I'm on my forearm, I'm rolling toward it and away from it. My tummy toward the floor and away. Just kind of rocking my whole body in and my whole body out. And that is some seriously intense feeling, aggregating. So they say that the feeling happens in the brain. I guess makes sense. So the place, the site where the pressure is stimulated, but that's not where the pain is. The pain's in the brain. I think that's why they don't make that difference anymore between psychological and physiological. But actually talking about my sister, I did realize why it is important to make some distinction, at least in terms of treatment. Okay, and then bring it, come onto your back, bring it under your butt. Oh yeah, we were not on our backs, we're sitting up. And sits bone, start there, and then roll around. Woo. Try to get inside and outside of that bone. Bony landmark. And can you rotate your knee out and in kind of half Baddha Konasana, half butterfly, butterfly that leg in and out. Lordy, that's a lot of fun. All right, and for the finale, let's put this underneath our shoulder blades. So we only have one, presumably. So you're gonna bring it, we're gonna start under either shoulder blade, right in the blade. And I'm moving my arm down and up, my elbow is bent. And I've really got it, the ball well placed on the inner flap. So between the spine and the shoulder blade, but really just under the shoulder blade. And I'm using the elbow to increase sensation. You can also try straightening the arm and bending. Now is there. And then just let the arm rest. Just let your body rest over the ball still and breathe into whichever side it's under. See if it feels like you can breathe into that lung a little more. And we'll switch to the other side. And I've got it right on the inner part of my shoulder blade. And I'm moving the arm to intensify it or decrease the intensity. Interesting, this is my less good shoulder, less good arm, and this side hurts less with the ball. Oh, because I wasn't in the right spot. Okay, I moved up a little bit higher, and that's where it is, the brutal. Oh. See if you can find your spot. And circle the arm bent or straight to find the nuance. needed for you. Yeah. And then when you feel ready, open that arm out to the side and just let it rest the arm against the floor with the ball in the hot spot. Focus your attention into the lung on that side and imagine breathing from there. Imagine making the space bigger. Woman, Elena and I went to Mexico with Elena's friend, my friend. Her therapist told her, don't try to make the pain smaller, make yourself bigger. Oh, okay. I'm gonna move that arm a little bit, see if it what's the conversation there. Oh, mine's still pretty intense. And then I said that was the last thing, but let's do one more just subtle thing. Take that ball and you're gonna put it under the occiput, right at the base of the skull, if you can balance it there. And then if you can, stretch your legs out. If you need to, bend the knees. And just, I don't want to exaggerate with the word float, but there is something floaty here. We're floating the head up a little bit. So the head is resting on the ball. And that cervical spine has a nice curve to it, hopefully. You want to angle your chin up slightly so it does, just super subtle. And that's actually what we're going to do. We're going to use the nose as our word fulcrum. I'm not sure. So just like you have a dot of paint on your nose, and just as if you could paint the ceiling in a line, just move your nose toward the back of the room, not very far, and toward the front. Salvaging the back of the head. And if you can balance, move the nose right, a little bit to the right, and a little bit to the left. And then driving with the nose, a subtle circle clockwise. And counterclockwise. And then stillness. It sends so many signals to the brain. We send so many, but in this conscious activity of ball rolling and shaking, trying to change, make some changes, just let the brain take all of this in, allow it to shift. You may feel a sense of discomfort. And then place one hand behind the head, a hand to support it while you move the ball out. And then carefully lay the head back down. And again, rest for a few moments here. Breathe in through your nose. Take another sip of air at the top. Exhale out the mouth with a sigh. Strong breath in. Another at the top. And exhale with a sigh. Stretch your arms behind you, your legs out in front of you. Wriggle your shoulders. And we're just going to tap along the front of our pelvis. So tap along sideways from the center line out past the hip bone. And then the other side, it's just kind of like a row side to side, like typing. And then bend your left knee, roll to your right, and come on up. And let's reward ourselves with a down dog and see how that feels. Perhaps suddenly better or different. Raise the right leg, bend knee, open up the hip. Flex and point the foot. And then squaring the hip, lower the right foot with the left leg. Squeezing the hamstrings, open up that left leg. Flex and point. Pushing through the hands. Square the hips, step forward with 2 feet. Knees are softly bent. Hold opposite elbows. And see if your body's more willing to hang. Tummy in. Shake the head. Nod the head. Maybe there's just simply more awareness in different areas. So it may not feel looser. In fact, it may feel tighter, but more present somehow. Switch the forearms so the other one's in front. Feel the weight on the elbows helping to open up the side ribs. Those can be reluctant participants. And then release the hands, toe heel the feet together. Give yourself a generous knee bend as you pull the heart forward, sits bones back. Squeezing out our hips, and then fold, dropping the head. Palms resting in the earth, chin tucking. Root to rise up, circle the arms, lift tall. Grab your left wrist, pull over to the right. Left palm is up, look up. And then come up and over toward the left. Right palm is up, look under the right arm. Separate the hands and reach back, thrusting the hips forward. Exhale, and down you go. Forward fold. Inhale, looking up, stretch back, left foot steps back, lower the left knee, and let that right knee come forward to the toes. Shift up onto the toes, raising that right heel, and let that right knee come forward even more. If it's okay, lean onto that left hand, and maybe that right arm lifts or wraps behind you. And then we're going to turn, come on that left shin, take that right leg out to the right. I'm facing the left long side of my mat, and I'm going to lead, steer with my right leg, opening up that right inner groin, outer hip, places we rolled. Go both directions. And then if you can, bend onto that left shin, leave that right leg out to the side, and drop your head, stretching into that right inner groin, pushing that right foot into the floor. So you'll feel a tone on that inner right groin. Toning. Atoning for our sins, and then come back to toward the front of the mat, straighten that right leg, come into a hamstring stretch here. I guess it's more of a calf stretch. I don't know. Right leg stretch. Flex the foot. Try to keep your chest up. Keep your hopes up, heart up. Firm your right quadriceps. Internally, externally rotate the leg. Good. And send that right leg back. Come onto forearms. We're going to hold a forearm plank. Feel your core. See if your butt is squeezing a little bit better than usual. You can kind of turn on all those inner thigh muscles better than usual. And have a little more detail in the lats. You can pull those lats on, tummy in. We'll just hold tip of the tongue lifted to the roof of the mouth. Check that your neck muscles are chilling. Raise the seat up, dolphin. If you can, straighten your arms here, down, down. Step your left foot forward, lower the right knee down, and bring your knee forward over the toes. Really deep here. Lift the chest. And then if you can, raise the heel up. Maybe the left arm wraps behind, and you kind of ease into that right groin. Heels up if you can. Knee is sort of opening. Oof. You feel you're in there, like those deep connectors. Carefully make your way out of it. You're going to rotate to the right. Use your left leg to steer. So I'm on my right shin. I'm facing the parallel long side of my mat. And using that left leg, circle. And the other one. And then lean back. I'm leaning back toward my right heel. Left leg is straight out to the side. And my head is down. Left foot, I'm trying to put the whole foot on the floor so that I can get some toning. I'm able to tone the inner left thigh. And that's where I'm the most jiggly. So whenever I can, I try to tone there. Just not whenever I can, because I wouldn't be so jiggly. That is where I seem to have a deficit. More of a deficit. I'm jiggly in other places too. And then bend that left knee, rotate toward the front of your mat. Let's see if we can get that left leg straightish. You might want to pad your right knee and try to lift your chest up. Oof. Hello. Squeeze your sits bones. Actively on purpose, tone the front of the leg. And that will, of course, help the back of the leg stretch. And you can rotate your left leg in and out if that feels good. And let's come back to that forearm plank. Left leg sweeps back, come onto your elbows, and a nice tone here, squeezing toward the midline. Relaxing the shoulders down the back. Lats are on, serratus are on, heels are up. And if you just want to add more, squeeze elbows toward ankles and ankles toward elbows. For 5, 4, 3. So you can lengthen out a little more. 2, and 1. Raise your seat, walk your feet in, dolphin. Hang here, let the head go. Let it hang. Push down into the elbows. Try to stretch your buttocks back. And then knees to the ground. Extended child's pose with the arms forward, or modify or take down dog. If you can't do child's pose. Letting your hips be heavy. And then ease yourself forward, and we're gonna just thread the needle, bring that left arm under onto that left shoulder, right fingertips are pressing into the floor, and twist here. Hips are usually, the ideal position is above the knees. See if that's good for you. And then do the other side. Pressing fingers into the ground, pushing that right arm into the ground, can really get some good traction. Oof. And I am feeling this quite differently than I normally do, which I think has to do with that ball work. It just, at least in my case, sometimes brings more awareness to areas. It's not like I'm more open, it just more alert. I think in a good way. We're activated. And then press up. Let's come on to our backs. And it is almost time, but I'd love to just get us a sweet inversion. So grab your block, and we're gonna take a supported Viparita Chakrani with a block. Under the sacrum, legs up. If that's too complicated today, you can just take your legs up the wall for a similar effect. I like the balance of this, the challenge, and the way it opens the chest. It allows the chest to really show off, to peacock here. Spread your toes. I have a client he teaches film, and he was saying he never puts a blanket on the student's creativity. He never throws a blanket on it. He's like, I always let them peacock. I thought, I liked the imagery. Your chest open here and breathe. Imagine there's just so much space to breathe. Eyes are closed or gazing softly at the big toes. The inner gaze is often directed toward the third eye here. Slowly let the knees bend, landing them on the feet on the floor, and hold your bridge pose. Spread the soles of the feet. Breathe into the upper chest. Perhaps you can feel a nice stretch in the tummy, or we can take it a step further. I have my block all the way up, so I'm going to lower it one level to straighten my legs out in front. This is a lot if you have tight hip flexors, tight psoas, so you may even want to go lower. Other people love this position. It's like heaven. Really is sort of split down the middle, so see how you're handling it. Now this is a big ask. I don't know if it will work for you, but if you can, you might bend your knees just to kind of check, make sure you can do it. You're going to pull the block out and just with the legs out straight so you can hold yourself lifted here, pressing down. So the buttocks are up, everything is off the floor, but the shoulders and head. Pull that up. And then ease on down onto the floor. Reach your hands back behind your head and move it left and right. Insert the fingers right at the divot at the base of the skull. And spread your fingers along the bottom of the hairline. And then carefully lay your head down over the pressing finger, like onto the floor. The fingers continue to press. And then remove the hands. Slide the shoulder blades down the back, palms are open. Roll your limbs in and out. And we stimulated the nerves differently. So it may feel weird. Just may feel weird. Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett, she studies emotions and feelings and brain. And this kind of blew my mind. She said, so basically the brain has a checklist and it's checking off all the things. So the autonomic nervous system, right? It keeps us alive. It does trillions of things. And the brain is checking it. It's like checking that all these things are getting done. And only when there's something that didn't get checked, does it come to the level of conscious awareness. Right? That just blows my mind. So there's a list, the brain's checking it off, and all those things, it doesn't bother us with them. The only time we sort of come to know is if there's an error, or it thinks it's an error. There's something that is different. So you may feel weird. We changed the inputs. So the checklist, your brain might be bringing a lot of things to your attention right now. It doesn't mean something's wrong. The brain thinks something is wrong when things aren't checked off. But sometimes it's progress. It's change. And it can feel uncomfortable. Take a deep breath in here. And as you exhale, let go. giving the brain time to write a new list with new inputs. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. Breathe in deeply. On your exhale, yawn and stretch and see who you are right now, what is, how it is. Bend your left knee, roll to your right side, come into a fetal position. Snuggle up deeply as though you were preparing to reemerge. Breathe into your back. Breathe in the purity of whatever you're calling in today. Love, maybe, connection, spaciousness, playfulness, simplicity. And make your way on up. So press through your hand and slowly rise, bringing with you all of these changes, moving slowly for now. Here is something new being born. Raise the arms up. Palms come together in prayer over the heart. Whatever you breathed in and whatever you shifted, let it be in service of your spirit. Let it be in service of your heart's prayer. Singing that out on the sound of Om. Inhale. Om. Bring the prayer to the mind. Trust that the mind heard it and hears it. We bow forward, honoring one another, this incredible practice, our incredible human machines, the bodies, and all beings everywhere. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful week. I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.